Today is Tech Alley. Thank you everybody for coming out. We have Christmas coming up, but you all came down. That's exciting. That's exciting. So we had a presenter who apparently was taken away in a storm. His name's Nathaniel, and Nathaniel has. Josh, damn it, we're gonna do better than this.
The super intelligence.
Well, that's the thing. The super intelligence guy was so super intelligent that he's not here. So sad. Ignore the 2022. So, for those that don't know, my name is Joshua Stacy, and this is demo time. Now, I will say, every month it's an adventure. We're not sure what's going to happen. Sometimes we have some very polished presentations. Sometimes we have less polished presentations. And today's going to be one of the less polished presentations. What I was trying to do was go over, do a demo on WordPress. So I work a lot with WordPress. A lot of people don't like it. They're wrong, of course. The reason for that is, well, I'll get into that in a minute. So just to give us a little overview here, I'm going to go over WordPress a bit, why it matters, why it's interesting, and then I'm going to go over the startup sprint, which is going to be, so you might notice it says 2022. For those that don't know, it's 2025. So we'll get that updated here. But basically, there's sort of the two angles on this. On the startup sprint, basically, what this is it's a course I taught a little while ago, and it's for folks that are getting new ventures going. So a lot of times you'll think, oh, well, I have this great idea, and we want to do our $10 million investment raise, and like that's all well and good. But a lot of times, just to get out of the door, you need to have some basics figured out, and that's the premise of what that is. So I'll start with WordPress. So I'm going to get a little bit closer up here. Ryan just left, so he's going to hate that I'm off camera, but this way I can see all your beautiful faces. Now I can see. So, quick show of hands. Raise your hand if you are technical and you build stuff. Okay, raise your hand if you are an entrepreneur. You've got some ideas, you want to be building things, you've got, okay. Raise your hand if you're here just because this is entertaining and it's Saturday and we're going to be here. Okay, all right, we got a little bit of that. Sounds like the WordPress explanation would have been kind of silly here anyway, or less relevant. I'll wrap the thread on that though. So one of the things that I like a lot about WordPress, going back in time, WordPress started off as blogging software, right? That was something people were doing a lot of. We need a good system for it. We want to load pictures, later video, things like that. What's ended up happening is there's a lot of times, then we had mobile. Mobile got really big, and I never really got big into mobile first development. And part of the reason for that is once you build in WordPress, you can push it out to mobile anyway. And so it runs off of MySQL, so you're running the same databases, all of this other stuff. And the biggest thing on WordPress, just as a development platform, is it gives you a lot of customizability without having to get super deep in the super technical. However, if you do want to add functionality, you've got all that available. But we'll skip past that. All right. So, show of hands if we had an accelerator with Tech Alley. What that means is we're going to go through and we're going to teach you a bunch of stuff and help you walk through starting that new venture. Show of hands if you think you might be interested in that. Oh, great. We'll start now. So, for those that don't know me, at least this way, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been self-employed basically my entire career. I like software a whole lot. I like building things. I like the excitement of saying there's a problem and we need to solve it with something. So one of the things that I found early in my career was there wasn't a lot of good resources for sort of management, meaning if you have a normal job, you might have a manager, and if you have questions, you might have lots of different resources you can reach up to. If you're doing your own thing, you really don't have that. And so a bunch of years ago, I went to the bookstore, and I said, well, let me go look in some management sections and see if I can learn some stuff. And I did. I actually learned quite a bit. There are two books I bought. One, Escape Velocity by Jeffrey Moore. The other one was The Strategist, Be the Leader that your company needs. And what I've found is it was valuable to get those resources, but there's also something that comes from having discussion and engaging and teaching and sort of walking people through things. And so that's where I made the startup sprint here. So the startup sprint is a series of 8 lessons, and the way that I adminned it back in fall of 2022 was we met twice a week. So we met Monday nights and we met Thursday nights. So Monday night, I'd go over the big thing, whatever the lesson is. And then on Thursday, we'd do sort of a check-in and say, well, how are things going? And then make sure everybody was all wrapped up so that way the next Monday we could start on the new topic. And the reason why I put this together was I think a lot of times if you're working on something new, small things are going to trip you up probably a lot more than you would think. And if you don't have anyone there sort of walking you through the basics, you can make some easy mistakes. So my company's BigTB. We've got a really clear mission. It's to democratize access to information, technology, and opportunity. Meaning, look, I grew up a poor kid in a poor town. I learned a lot about technology and a lot about the internet. It helped me build a much better life for myself than I would have otherwise. And so I like seeing that move on for people. That's been a theme. There's a lot of folks. The more opportunity we all have, generally the better it is for society. Yeah, let's get past it. All right. So this is the rough outline that I used. I'm going to be reworking this, and just as some more context here, and maybe I wasn't clear on this. One of the things that Tech Alley's working on doing is really maturing as an ecosystem. In order for that to happen, one of the things that's really been missing is early stage help with businesses. And so the 8 weeks guideline that I went through, or the 8 weeks that we went through on this, first thing was introduction goals. So we just went over like, what is this about? And not necessarily just our goals, but like, what are the goals for folks that are going through it? Because a lot of times, show of hands if you've been told you should pivot. If you're doing a startup and things aren't going well, all right, a lot of times they say, well, change course, make a decision. Well, how do you know when it's a good time to make a new decision? How do you know when it's time to change and head in a new direction? Sometimes the goal really is just to figure out more about what's going on. Then we went over website and internet basics. Sales funnels, right? A lot of the times people will think, well, I have this great product. And you're like, oh, cool. Like, go market that. And it's like, well, where are the people that we would find for this? When I was doing a trade show a while back, I had a marketing list company, and someone came up to me and they said, I'm looking for clients. Okay, great. Well, how can I help you? And they're looking for emergency passport services, meaning people who are needing to, they want to head out of town, they need their passport, and they need it right then. And it's sort of a hard thing to find someone in that exact niche. So a lot of times when people are starting a new business or starting a new project, they're thinking so far down the road of, well, I already talked to the person, and I know that there are people that have this problem, but they're not thinking ahead of time of how do you find all of those customers. And that's one of those things where a lot of times when folks make a project, they push something out, they find themselves in a situation where they have this great product, but they don't know how to find people for it, or even worse, what they found out is there's no good way to find that. Then we go over, so week 4 and week 5, I think I did these in the wrong order when I did it. But a part of it's figuring out if there actually is an economic reason to do the business. One of the things a lot of AI companies are finding out right now is they spend an enormous amount of money on API fees to offer a service to people, but the service isn't necessarily worth more than the API fees, so sometimes they found they just have a great way of losing money. Now we like to think that you have economies of scale over time and things will get better, but that doesn't always make sense. Then the other thing is, it's not just is the industry something where you can make some money, is it something that you yourself can? Maybe industry incumbents do pretty well because they've already bought the big machinery, they already have the right relationships, so maybe the market's fine, but the reality is you're not going to be able to have a way to make that work for you. And then week 6, once we've already gone through all those steps, we say, okay, great. Is it time to pivot? Is it time to take a look at something different? A lot of times folks will have a product that might be good for more than one market, and you might realize when you're going through these steps that some of them are going to be really hard to find. Maybe you want to pivot in another direction. And then that week 7, we say, grow it or kill it. So you either make the decision, say, okay, we've got all these great ideas, we're gonna go out and market, or guess what? Maybe this isn't the time for it, and that's pretty much that. So let me ask you this. I did ask if anybody had if this was more of an entrepreneur group or more of a technical group. If Tech Alley were to offer programming like this, where they could take your early stage ideas and help you walk through it, does that sound like something that would be valuable and helpful, or maybe not so much? Thoughts?
Very helpful.
Very helpful. Valuable. These are good words. Excellent. All right. Well, let me do this. All right. So I, of course, am an attention whore and love having a mic and whatnot, but also I know not everything's about me. So what I'd like to do at this point, because it is, it's our last session of the year here, and I did get a little stood up. I'm not going to name any names, but I don't like it very much when people leave me hanging like this. We've got sort of two directions we could go. One is we could have any one of you come on down and we can talk about whatever you're working on, go through that. Or I can go through the rest of sort of the introduction of this outline here. Not the outline, this is the actual, it is like the first lesson, like we go over introductions, goals, stuff like that. So would anyone like to come down and talk about their project? All right, come on down.
Can I send you a PDF?
A PDF?
Yeah, with my pitch deck?
Sure, you can send me a PDF.
I just want to know if I'm going on the right track.
All right. Now, I'm going to give you this mic, and you might be like, oh, but no one can hear me.
Hello.
Right, and then you might think, oh, this isn't working, because that's what happens most of the time when I hand it. That's for the video, so this way people can know. So
I'm Joe, by the way.
Joe, I'm Josh.
Nice to meet you, Josh.
Joe is not the guy that stood me up earlier, by the way. If you want to email it to me, you can send it there. All right.
I'm not really good at public speaking, so this is
You're not good at public speaking?
Oh, no.
Thank God I'm here. I'll help. It's not a bad audience. I only saw a few Rotten Tomatoes. We got a laugh. That was good.
All right, I'm sending it.
Should have sent it to me earlier.
Well, I didn't know we were going to do this.
You didn't know?
No, that's my
See,
first,
guys, this is not staged.
this is definitely my first time doing
This is his first time doing it. It's my first time. It's not going to be my first time with an
it. All right,
email.
now I got to figure out how to send it.
Oh, he's figuring out email. All right.
Okay, here we go.
Oh,
Josh.
put my screen safety on.
BIGTH.
TB. Big T and then B as in boy. Yeah.
Sorry. If I would have known, I would have sent it earlier.
You should have sent it earlier. Now we're all stuck. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, Josh. Okay. I got to figure out how to go to files.
Well, you want to hop back up and then come down when you. All right.
I will.
We can watch these guys figure out. Okay. Does anybody else want to talk about their? No. Okay. Wonderful. Come back once you send that email. Once you send me that email. All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just start going through this. You guys are like, hey, we've got these businesses. We want to get going. We want to make some money. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Oh no, not that share.
So would this course be free or?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Jacob. So the question is, would this be free? And the answer is probably. So a lot of times, so there's incubators and there are accelerators. An incubator is typically going to be something that's very, very early stage, maybe just an idea. And then an accelerator is going to be usually a little bit further along. And a lot of times an accelerator will take equity. A lot of times an incubator will just be community supported, or maybe they'll have like a small fee or something like that. Part of the challenge in making sort of startups work here is this town works so great for a lot of industries. and there's not really a whole lot of need for sort of diversification from the perspective of some of the other industries. And so it makes it more challenging to get buy-in for various things. But that said, like also like a lot of times people are starting off like, if you're like me when you started off, like I was trying to make money, not spend money. So that I like the resources that were free. Okay.
So kind of when you're starting out, I'm Richard, by the way.
Hi, Richard.
How's it going?
Wonderful.
Great. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And for example, like I participated in a few like in an incubator myself as well too. And a lot of it was actually like really helpful because to start out when you're first starting out, you kind of don't know what you don't know, right? And
You don't know anything.
Yeah. So
You're just fucking retarded.
So we kind of like go a little bit down the line. Like for example, I'm in the aviation space, and there's really kind of no accelerator for that like around here whatsoever. So like, but I got really good connections in the aviation. So a lot of times you kind of just gotta walk the journey, right? And I think that's there's a lot of kind of really cool value to get, not just from incubators, from like accelerators and specific accelerators, right? Because maybe VC funding isn't right for you, and a lot of times I feel like a lot of the incubators or accelerators are trying to kind of push you towards that direction.
Yeah, well, so a few things that Richard here shared with us. A lot of the accelerators and incubators are geared towards VCs. Like they just want that hyper scalable company, and like there's nothing wrong with that. But like also like that's one of many lanes that a business can go down. The second thing is you mentioned how you're in aviation. A lot of times what a business might need is very specific like connections. But that said, like one of the things that I think Vegas is enormously good at that's underappreciated is it really is a very supportive environment. Like a lot of times if you're building something, like you are a lone wolf, like you're out doing your thing, and like most likely scenarios you're gonna fail. That's just statistics. And in order to slug through that, you gotta tell yourself you're not gonna be that statistic, and you just go out there and you try it anyway. And so a lot of times, one of the things that so there's an accelerator that I mentored at in Virginia, this is maybe 5 years ago. One of the things that we tried to do a lot of was also help the startups get support from each other, because a lot of them are dealing with a lot of the same things. And so it was partially about, hello, we are the grand poobahs and here's your information. But like more importantly, or at least equally important, was getting connections horizontally with each other, and then that sets you up for getting those industry specific ones. Because like the fact of the matter is like there's some industries where really you do need a few people that are going to give you ins with this, that, or the other thing. One of the other things that I love about Las Vegas is it can be a lot more easy to get those connections than you might think, because it's a town of 2.5 million people that all know each other. Did the email get sent?
I'm sitting here right
Oh, okay. We're still thinking about it. That's fine. That's fine. We only have all session.
now. That's it.
Okay. Well, so let me ask, instead of me going through all of this, although maybe we'll do that, so you guys are starting businesses, you're building things, what are some problems or questions you're having, or problems you're running into? And if you're raising your hand, I can't see you, so just out with it.
I'm having issues trying to find donators for the nonprofit.
Jacob's having a hard time finding people that will give him money for nothing. That's weird. Why do you think that is, Jacob?
Because I suck at marketing. I'm really good at the technical stuff, but when it gets to like the marketing aspect of it, that's kind of like my biggest weakness. I can build cool stuff like Vegas or whatever, being the concept and the design and getting it built. But then when it gets to getting the donors and kind of like the momentum going on the people side of things, it's hard as a technology nerd to grasp that in a social element.
Come on down, Jacob.
Okay.
Come on down. We're going to pick on Jacob. Who's ready to pick on Jacob? I know I am. All right, there's your talking stick for the viewers at home. All right, so real quick, what is your thing?
So Vegas Open Network, it's a nonprofit 501c3 internet service provider. We're working on building out a free internet service that's run on optional donations built by volunteers.
All right, so what problem is being solved?
The problem is that internet is ran by major corporations. They take your data, they sell it, they're not flexible. And for many people in Las Vegas, they can't afford internet service. So we're working on connecting the unconnected primarily, connecting low-income housing and people that just don't have the funds to get internet, but also not focusing on just the low-income people, but also giving the people that just want to be separated from the big guy to have more control over their internet.
All right, so does anybody here actually have a problem with their internet? I'm not seeing a lot of hands raised, but I can't really see a whole lot. So I suspect most people don't think that they have this problem. And the people who don't have the money for internet probably aren't going to be donating for internet, or else they'd have internet. So why do you think you're having a hard time getting donations for free internet?
Well, it could be that I'm just so busy. and this is like something I'm doing on like the side. So, I spend a lot of my allocated time in a day to making money to pay the bills, do a full-time job. And then the rest of the time is, of course, I got 4 kids. So I now have to allocate that time. So it's the limited amount of time in a day. I wish I didn't have to sleep as a human. I wish I could stay up like 24 hours. That would solve so many problems. But humans need sleep. So
yeah, well, so I'm a pick on you because we're old friends at this point.
That's fine.
So one of the things as an engineer I always like to ask is, what is the problem being solved? Because all good engineering starts with a good problem statement. I don't think there's actually a problem that the people experiencing the problem, I'll revise. I think the people experiencing the problem aren't the ones that would be writing the check for solving the problem. And so you'd have to appeal sideways on that one. And
Sideways.
yeah,
You have to pivot.
I think you have to pivot to this as a fundraising, like your number one problem is fundraising.
Yeah.
It's not a tech problem. And I don't even, did you do any
I did market research.
Yeah.
And so before I did like the presentations, I went around Vegas and asked someone, like a few dozen people, like, hey, is this a great idea? Would you get it? Yeah, but is it built yet? And I'm like, no, I need money to build it. It has to be built first before they would convert to the other system. So it's the people love the idea, but then they don't want to throw money at it.
Right, so you've got like a Santa Claus problem. Everybody wants presents, but no one wants to.
So I posted on Reddit once about this idea. And I definitely, if you have any sort of ideas and you put it on Reddit, that's also almost like the best way to figure out uncensored opinions about your ideas. And everybody's response was, well, it's either a scam or it's going to be something that freebie people just overwhelm it and then destroy it or make it go, broke because everybody wants free stuff in Vegas.
I don't think that's unique to Vegas. I think people like free stuff everywhere. I'll be honest. I've liked free stuff. I like free stuff in Vegas. I've lived in other places and I liked free stuff there too. All right. Well, does anybody have it? Oh.
I have a suggestion. Perhaps you could seek corporate sponsors in Las Vegas who have plenty of money and want to associate their image with doing some kind of good deed for people who are in need.
The man brings up a good point, and I'm just going to polish it a little bit. Maybe I'm making it worse. I don't know. What you need to sell is people like companies feeling like they look good. We're proud to support fill in the blank. We're proud to do the whatever. Cox? Oh, that's probably not a good one
No,
for you.
so I actually have reached out to corporations and also looked at casinos. They want history and they want an established product first before they throw funding at it. So it's like everybody wants it built first, but then you have to have the money to build it. So it's like, well, it's either I got to throw my own money at it before they even push funds on it. And I've spoken with the state, the innovation division, and they said, well, a large majority of corporate donors require history and it already being built and showing numbers and data in terms of how many people it's assisted. And if it's something new and it doesn't have any history, they're more than likely 100% of the time not going to donate. Now, unless I could find some rich corporate guy somewhere that's like, hey, this is a great idea. It's happened in New York. It's the same thing's been built in New York, and they have 4,000 people or 4,000 nodes set up on it right now.
Cool.
Do you know
Who else has
rich
ideas
guys?
for, what's that?
Do you know any rich people?
I do know rich people. I don't know any that would write a check for this, though. I'm sad to say. All right, who else has some any feedback for Jacob?
I had some.
Richard over there.
I don't know if it's constructive or anything, but when I kind of like think about charities and like nonprofits and stuff, like they solve like a very specific problem, and if people don't know like the very specific problem that you're solving, they just kind of like dismiss it, right? And it's the same kind of approach for kind of startups where tell me what problem you solve and who you solve it for. So when you kind of mentioned that it's free internet, I think it's kind of like a utility, right? More people kind of have access to it. So what does society have to gain from people that normally don't have internet to now they have free or cheap internet, whatever, and maybe kind of push it that way. Like what do the people that normally don't have internet in Las Vegas have to gain by you coming into their house and putting a modem in their house and giving them free internet?
Yeah, make the story real human. You're like, here's Susie. Susie doesn't have internet access, so she couldn't learn how to read, and now she's south of Fremont Street doing alternative employment.
Yeah, but
Yeah, or now she's on Reddit, ruining her life.
like it's this weird dynamic. So like again, I was like, I'm really technical. Like if you want me to build like pretty much a robot that delivers you coffee, with a press of a button, I could build you a walking robot that makes you coffee and delivers it to your desk or whatever. It's almost like the personality perspective. Like the technical stuff works great. It's why you usually don't see like the technical software developers ultimately become the CEO. It's usually someone from Harvard that ends up being the CEO that has like the charisma associated to it. But like I'm extremely nerdy, and maybe I'm just like doubting myself, and I just have to throw myself out there more.
Can I ask you another question?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Like what's your why?
Poor Kay.
Okay.
Like why do you feel like you have to dedicate your time to kind of this very specific?
Well, I have my time allocated to a whole bunch of like different stuff. This is kind of like my on the side kind of fun thing to do. I've always personally wanted to build out a network that was open to the public, as in if someone wanted to know how the internet service works, it's not some hidden stuff behind a box. Like people can go and learn about it. But then in interacting with all of the different ISPs in Vegas, they're not open to specialized setups. So that could be maybe you have a specific wireless product that you want to deploy, but it has like very specialized hardware that connects into it. Major providers, they have existing agreements with hardware providers to where it's very limited. And so there's almost zero flexibility. Like if you want a static IP address for your residential internet service, you're not going to get that through Cox Internet unless you go get a very expensive business plan.
But with Vegas Open Network, if you want a static IP address, we can make that easily happen, and it would be very inexpensive.
You have like this really, I'm sure you're really like super good technically, but you have like a way of explaining it that's also like super technical and not very kind of cute, like not very human, right? Not very like, hey, this is why this problem is important to me, and this is why you need to donate to my cause. You absolutely sound like you know what you're talking about.
I get a lot of feedback, and I got feedback during my last presentation that I got to be more untechnical, but I've grown up in places with Java engineers where it's like almost like the battle of the brains, where I have to defend myself, otherwise you get destroyed. So, I went through AT&T, large corporate environment, where it's like every day you have to battle the brains to prove your worth in the environment. And then of course you go out into the real world, and it's just like you try to explain certain things to people, or you try to explain ideas, and I try to make an effort to make it reasonably understandable. And I have no problem like saying like I have issues I got to fix, but.
Well, so here's what I'm picking up from Richard. So I occupy this strange land where I'm an extroverted engineer. So I end up having to go, like I can go pretty deep on technical. You probably go more technical than me on at least some areas. Probably a lot more technical than me in some areas as well. What I think Richard, right? What Richard's getting at, sometimes when someone's presenting on something, you're like, oh my fucking God, this person just loves this thing. And other times people are like they're into it, but it's not like what gives their life meaning. And I think with startups, a lot of times people are used to that excitement, especially if we're writing a check and we're getting nothing for it, right? So some donor, right? I want to hear like folks that I know with money, like with money. Not that they can't light 10 grand on fire, not that they can't light 100 grand on fire, but they got to really emotionally connect with it because it's not a logical decision. So I have one closing piece of advice here for you, a thought. A lot of times nonprofits will have some arm that's actually bringing in revenue to fund the nonprofit thing that they want to do. Maybe what you need to do is get a little colo site going. So this way you can actually lease out internet to service providers, hosts, things like that. So that way you've got like one cabinet you can get some revenue coming in on and then build off that. Yeah. Anybody else have any thought? Not you, like, not everything's about you.
I just had a quick question before the jump. It's just, like, what are the statistics on, like, how many people here in town don't have internet?
So when I was looking at the census data, which I had a few slides during demo a while back ago, there was about 42% of low-income housing on the east side of Vegas that has to utilize some sort of like subsidy program for their internet services, and a lot of that's through federal funding. If you go to Summerlin, of course, that's probably in the lower tens, but there's still a percentage of low-income housing in the Summerlin area as a requirement on their zoning. So on the east side, it's more prevalent, and so the part of the pilot network was setting up the arts district to help small businesses have one less item on their bill that they have to pay for, but also try out 1 to 2 low-income housing facilities around the arts district to then expand more into the east side. It's about 40%.
What's your goal? I'm just curious.
So the ultimate vision would be that because it's volunteer created, people would then start take ownership of the network. So it's all done through wireless nodes and on top of houses. People would maybe see in their neighborhood that other neighbors want to connect into the network, so then they all get together and then they connect all the neighbors together as one network. But then as it grows, If someone's wanting to start a business and have a place where they can host their website or host resources, there's like little to no cost to be able to host specialized projects, or anyone that's creating like a business here would have like an actual space where they can host their startup website or their project for little to no cost, since it's not for profit, and kind of like just a space where people could build stuff freely without any sort of corporate profit model associated to it. Does that answer your question a little bit, or?
Well, not quite. I was
Okay.
Because you aforementioned about how you approach corporate about sponsorship or donations, but they're giving you the same recurring feedback, which is build it first and then we'll consider. So I mean, have you estimated how much it's going to cost to build out this pilot, or?
So initially we're looking at $150,000 for the first build out to then be able to pay for the peering agreements with other ISPs to support the network, and that would last through the first year, and then get to a point where potentially we would have enough donations to support the network. And another network, NYC Mesh in New York City, that has the 4,000 nodes. They started out through their own funds. So they personally paid for the equipment and paid for the services on top of their houses to then expand the network all around New York City. But they made a lot more money to be able to have that expendable income to make it work. To where in this case, I'm trying to approach it where there's not, I guess, as high of a risk of my own personal funds to get it growing, because I don't make a lot of money, so trying to get the community support to build something that's community owned, that's just the approach I'm taking for it. If I had $1 million, I'd just fund it myself and then just build it all across Las Vegas.
I'm just spitballing here, but I know venture capital firms, it's not really their business model. They have lots of money from what I read. Maybe if you were able to pitch, maybe there's some venture capital firm out there that does like pro bono work like a law firm would do, or there might be something about your technology that they would be interested in. Like, well, we'll give you money if you give us, a license to your technology or something, some kind of trade-off like that. They're accustomed to listening to people present their technical ideas.
Well, so I want to run with that real quick. There are impact investors. Now, the problem that I'm having is, and it goes back to this other gentleman's question or inquiry, the numbers you're using, it sounds like a lot of what you're saying is there are folks that are using internet that is provided through subsidies, but they actually still have internet. So it doesn't sound like we're solving the actual accessibility problem, because that's already been solved.
But that's dependent upon a lot of federal funding that is becoming less available.
Okay.
And while they do provide subsidies and free internet services through like Comcast or Cox Internet, once you meet over that threshold, which in many cases after the 60th percentile of income, it's too low for many people to get under to be able to qualify for the program.
Got you. All right. Well, any other questions for Jacob? Oh.
Do you have an ad revenue model, or is it completely?
Ad revenue?
Yeah, for this, maybe, I came in late, so didn't get
Oh,
it.
so this is a 501c3 nonprofit. We can't have any sort of revenue. All donations are tax deductible. Vonet.org is our website, but it's 100% donation based. No profit model is built into it. So you can literally, once we get it built, you can connect into the network and not donate at all, or you can donate $20 a month. There's risk of freeloaders, but it works in New York City. They got 4,000 nodes. Just trying to replicate the same thing in Las Vegas, because it's a really effective thing in New York City right now.
All right. Round of applause for
And
Jacob.
thank you for the feedback.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. All right, we got time for one more. If someone else wants to come down to the hot seat. Okay, I got your email, but it didn't open. Come on down anyway.
I think I had to send you another one.
No, the PDF didn't load. It said that my computer has AIDS now. But you can spitball it. You can spitball it. I'm sure. All right. This mic is so that people on the interwebs can hear you.
Hi, everyone.
So, yeah, introduce yourself. What's your thing?
My name is Joe, and I am a reseller here in Las Vegas with the app that solves a problem for resellers.
What kind of resellers?
So all kinds of resellers that sell physical products like on OfferUp and on Mercari, and then you have like drop shipping. So
Okay.
any kind of reseller that sells products. It doesn't matter if it's new or if it's old.
All right. So, what's the problem being solved?
So the problem as a reseller is dead stock. As a reseller, even as a pro reseller for the last 7 years, I still make mistakes. And you buy inventory that doesn't sell because you don't, you have to do research. And like, let's just say you're at a thrift store and you find something, then you have to do research on that product to see if it sells or not. And then sometimes
I can hear you, for sure, so use your mic.
I thought it didn't actually work.
Yeah, no, everybody thinks it doesn't work. So it goes to the video recording.
Oh, my bad.
So yeah, I've got one here that goes to that, and then this one
Right.
is so that way I can do funny things with the mic.
So yeah, as a reseller, we make a lot of mistakes, even if you're a beginner. Even if you're an advanced reseller, that you get inventory and it doesn't sell, or you get something because you think it's cool, or there's many reasons why people make mistakes as a reseller. And so the problem is Reseller Bro, which is an app that makes decisions for you based on your preferences.
So in like 3 sentences, what does it do better now?
So there's existing apps that you can take a picture of a product and it will tell you how much profit you can make from that. But the difference is when you sign up to my app, you put your preferences in. You put what kind of a reseller you are, if you're a pro, if you're a beginner, if you're intermediate. Then the Reseller Bro will have all this will take information from what kind of a reseller you are, what level you are. So if you're a beginner, it's going to give you more information. If you're advanced, it's going to give you less information. But in the preferences, you put your stores in. Like I sell on Mercari, I sell on OfferUp, I sell on Facebook Marketplace. You put those stores in, and then you put your products in. Like what kind of products you sell. Like if it's comic books, or if it's shoes, or you could put all products. So in my case, I select all products, and then you put your profit multiplier. So, and this is what no other app is doing. You put if you want to make, if I bought that laptop for $20, I want to make at least 10 times more than that, right? So I put that into the preferences. So then you press select your preferences, and then AI knows that this is what they're going to do for you. They're going to look for that product for you, and they're going to give you the decision once you scan that product. So the lens is called Bro Lens. That's why I wish it would have been up on the screen, and I do have a video as well.
We've got a lot of bro branding here.
Well, it's called your Reseller Bro. So
Yeah.
So it's called the Bro Lens, and then when you're in the store and you take a picture of that product, what you got to do is first it's voice command. So you take out the bro lens, and then you speak to your bro and you say, "Hey bro, this is $1 and it's in used condition," and then immediately in seconds your bro will tell you if you should buy that product or not based off your preferences. And then it says, "Would you like to save it to cart?" And you say yes or no, and you save it to cart and then list it later with all your other products.
Word. So is this thing live now then?
I have a prototype.
Word.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what's your biggest challenge at this point?
I need a technical co-founder. I need somebody that can help me build the app, and then of course capital. I'm sorry.
Everybody always needs capital. Yeah. All right. Well, anybody have any questions for him about the Bro app and your flipping of your things? I'm going to see a picture of a duck, and I'll figure out how much it can sell.
Give us an example of somebody who's used it, or?
No, I just have a prototype of it, just a mock-up prototype of it. But
Who do you think would be, I mean, is there one like use case that seems to be for resellers, like the biggie?
yeah, anybody will use it. Any reseller, you know, it'll be a subscription model for like $24 a month, and then there'll be like a lifetime option as well. So like if you're a reseller that's a serious reseller, you can pay $99 just for the lifetime, just to, before the app, because we're in pre-seed, the app is not created yet. So, but any reseller will use it. Any younger, there's resellers that are young, there's older resellers. Sorry, I'm really nervous.
No, so there's a guy I know, he's not here now. He did a lot of flipping of the Amazon return pallets.
Yeah.
So, like,
And
comes
they
to
can-
mind, he'd be a guy on that one.
Yeah, and those kind of people can use it as well, because once they get their pallets back, they have all kinds of different products that they know nothing about, and all they got to do is scan that product, and your bro will tell you instantly if you should try to sell that product or not, or if you
Hell.
just put it in your storage.
Hell yeah. All righty. Who else has some questions?
I have a question.
All right.
So does your product automate the entire process for like the drop shoulders?
Yeah, it's gonna be AI driven, so it's gonna go into all the APIs of all the different platforms, and it will research engagement, and it will research sold comps. So not just sold comps, it'll research, like, if somebody on Mercari has 50 likes on a product that hasn't sold, it will know that. So that's how it will make decisions for you to buy that product.
Gotcha. So it's kind of optimizing the inventory process for.
Exactly.
And it's giving you like all these interesting insights on the market and the product.
Right.
And whether you could actually make the percentage that you want to make on the product.
Exactly.
as a
What-
reseller.
Yeah, because you're going to set your profit multiplier, and so if I have it set for 10, I buy it for $1, and it's set, and your profit's only going to be $8, it's going to give you a hard pass. Don't buy that product. But then you can buy it anyways. You can say it's going to have the option to save to cart anyways, so you can save it to cart if you just like that item. But it's not recommended.
So it's sort of like doing due diligence for you.
Exactly.
So you go,
It
"Hey,
does
here's
all-
this
It
thing
does
I
all the
wanna-"
hard work for you.
Excellent. All right, all right, Joe. It's Joe, right?
Yep.
All right. Thanks for
All
coming
right,
on down,
thank
man. All right. Yeah, round of applause for Joe. He was nervous, but he did great. He did great.
Not good with public speaking.
One of the things that I love about Tech Alley is that we do have the opportunity to actually get to know folks, get engaged. Now here's a part of what we're going to do next. Hope everybody's ready. This is one of my favorite parts of demo time. We actually network. So we've gone over, we talked about the internet, we talked about, Jacob's internet, we talked about Joe's Deal Bro. I'm excited for more updates on that one. And we talked about having an accelerator going here, incubator here, getting some folks going.
We have time for one more?
Do we have time for one more? Of course we do. Come on down. And I say, of course we do. I mean, we got 5 minutes. All right.
30 seconds?
30 seconds. I'll give you 60 seconds. I'm such a
Oh,
nice
okay.
guy.
Well, I'm Michael Davis, and I'm the founder and CEO of, I'm actually Dr. Davis. I was a dental surgeon, retired from that, got into AI about a little bit over a year and a half ago, working on my 3rd certification on that. But we've developed a product called LeadTap, and it's an electronic business card, which there are a ton of electronic business cards out
Yes,
there.
there are.
But this one's integrated with a CRM, and there's a ton of CRMs out there, but none of them actually natively integrate with AI and automation. So what this does, someone scans this, and because this is Las Vegas, Las Vegas
This is Las Vegas.
is the capital city of trade shows and conventions. And these vendors are spending up to $20,000 for a booth. And they're talking to a lot of people that come by their booth, collecting their business cards, which hard printed business cards, Adobe said that 88% of them are in the trash within a week.
Yeah. No, I used to have, so I've done a bunch of trade shows.
Uh-huh.
I staple the business card to my like deal sheet and I write the notes on it and then I forget about it.
Yeah, what I would go to, I moved here to Las Vegas to open up a barbecue restaurant, which I did, and a cannabis consumption lounge, which I got a license for that because I moved here from Portland. But I go to conventions here, particularly weed conventions, and the people that would talk with me, it'd take them 2 to 4 weeks to get back with me. And when, like right now, I've got your attention, you got my attention. But 5 minutes from now, when I leave, you'll forget who I am and what I was talking about. But this, if you scan it and you put it's a business card, you give me your information, I get, and I give you my information, you give me your, like exchanging an actual business card, only electronically, but you put your information in, it goes into our CRM, and then it's automated nurturing. No other CRMs are doing that right now.
Cool.
And so I know I've used up my 60 seconds.
You went way past 60 seconds. I wasn't going to say anything.
Okay.
However, yeah, so automated conference follow-up.
Yeah.
That's
Conference
capital of the
any,
world.
any kind of networking.
Even at Tech Alley? No.
So, and if we're going to do networking, I've got my electronic business card here.
Excellent. All right, everybody. Any questions for him? Got time for a question, maybe two. You did such a good job explaining it, everybody. Oh.
Hi. Hey, Ben, question. Who is in your pipeline for potential distribution partners or investors?
Well,
Standard VC question.
Yeah, I am about to graduate from 2 different accelerator programs, and this particular thing, the CRM, is with Go High Level. If everybody should in this realm should know Go High Level, but the CRM was that all the agencies that are trying to like other marketing agencies are my potential partners.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Go High Level had part of why they've done really well is because they're built partially on WordPress. Heyo! But also, they have a huge agency like reseller distribution. So there's a lot of folks that, as an add-on, you could probably do pretty well with that on.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about this.
Get them engaged
We
on
have
it.
a white labeled CRM, the Go High Level.
Yeah.
But an agency can take that, and it's a way to acquire clients, but also the retention level. Once they're signed up with you, they're going to stay with you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Big round of applause. Big round of applause.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So thanks, everybody, for coming and for participating. It's always exciting when folks have things they're working on. We get to engage with it. But the last thing that we do at demo time is networking time. I think it's great. We all come out to Tech Alley. We go to different events, but sometimes we rush from lunch and we come over here and maybe we don't have enough time to get to know each other. So if you have questions about Deal Bro, it's Deal Bro, right? Reseller Bro. I had the bro figured out. Reseller Bro. We've got Reseller Bro Joe here. Anyway, all that to say, thanks for everybody for coming out. You know, we got Christmas coming up. You still made a point to be here. And if anybody either has something you want to present or know someone who does, please feel free to send them my way. All right, everybody. Thanks so much.